We keep things rolling here on the Sports Cubicle. Thank you for keeping us a part of your day. I'm Mike Mercado. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. If you missed any one of our segments, check us out over at YouTube at The Sports Cubicle or search Sports from the Couch wherever you get your favorite podcast. And, of course, over on Spotify at WCPT 820, as well as SoundCloud. A shout-out to our friends over at Sheets and Giggles. Use the promo code The Sports Cubicle, Sports from the Couch, for 15% off your next order. And, of course, a huge shout-out to each and every one of you who has supported us in our venture of a new children's book, Lucha Dog, coming out very soon. You can check out all the stuff that we have, including the merchandise, over at luchadog.shop. And this story that came across the newswire has me feeling a lot of different types of emotion as a Chicago Cubs fan, especially around the time that this individual made a huge impact in Chicago for the Chicago Cubs. This comes to us from the ESPN news staff. Dusty Baker has officially announced his retirement from Major League Baseball. As Dusty Baker officially ended one notable chapter in his illustrious career, he said Thursday he feels an obligation to do more around the game with the next one. Baker, 74, confirmed his retirement at a news conference following his fourth season managing the Houston Astros, who came one win shy of reaching the World Series for a third straight year with a loss to the Texas Rangers on Monday night in Game 7 of the AL Championship Series. Quote, I would first like to say thank you to Jim Crane and family for giving me this opportunity over the last 4 years, Baker said Thursday. It has been a tremendous honor to be the leader of this ball club. Thank you to the fans for their unwavering passion. The amount of love I've received in my time in Houston has been unmatched. Thank you to all my players and coaches for their many sacrifices on our multiple pursuits to a World Series title. You all gave me all you had every day, and that's all I can ever ask for. Lastly, I want to thank you to all my friends and family. I have immense gratitude for all the love and support you have shown me throughout the years, and I can't say thank you enough. This isn't a goodbye. It's simply a see you later. Baker ranks 7th with 2,183 wins, and all eligible managers with 2,000 wins are in the Hall of Fame. He became the first black manager to reach that milestone and will be the first inducted into Cooperstown. He compiled a record of 2,183 wins with 1,862 losses with one tie across 4,046 games on the bench for the Giants, the Cubs, the Reds, and the Nationals, and lastly, the Astros. He's the only manager to lead 5 different teams to division titles and was the National League Manager of the Year in 93, 97, and 2000. His Astros won the AL West for the third straight season in 2023. In 2022, the Astros defeated the Philadelphia Phillies in 6 games to win the World Series. And I suggest you read the entire article and check out the entire press conference as Dusty Baker is now officially done as manager of the Houston Astros and seems like he is officially done managing any ball club in Major League Baseball. And when I said in the beginning of this segment, the mixed emotions, I was 13 when the Chicago Cubs in 2003 made their run to the NLCS and fell short to the Miami Marlins, the Florida Marlins at that time. And Dusty Baker, in my mind, is the first Cubs manager that made the Cubs a real team, a real organization, a respected organization. This was a leader of people, of individuals, and he was cooler than the other side of the pillow, the toothpick and the armbands and the swag. And, of course, one of the most legendary moments of all time, the fights, the spats, the shootouts, the old Western type of thing of the two gunslingers, Antonio La Russa and Dusty Baker at Wrigley Field, Cubs Cardinals.
And now Dusty starts to holler at Tony La Russa. They've had their share of... And now Dusty's asking La Russa to come out and talk about it. They've had their share of shouting matches. Remember the playoffs last year.
Well, look, you're playing a team 8 times in a short period of time. I think that if this thing escalates at all, Al Rabowski and Ron Santos should go head-to-head, battle it out. Ronnie might be able to actually get a hit in, something he wasn't able to do during the course of his career. And Dusty most unhappy, as you would expect. But he does have a man on. There is nobody out, and you head to the top of the lineup in a very close game. Your pitcher's not hurt. That should be the end of that for the moment. And we'll go from there. Some hostilities. Probably not deciding where they're going to have dinner. For those of you who read lips, he's saying, I'm not having a fine time.
It's one of the greatest moments that I can look back at, that September run, the Cubs going on to win that division, and Dusty was part of it. Dusty was also part of some bad Cubs moments, and I think that also opened my eyes as a teenager to what it really meant to be a sports fan, and more specifically a Chicago Cubs fan. And after the way it ended and him having success in Cincinnati and obviously having a lot of success before this in San Francisco and then going to Washington and never really being able to get that monkey off his back of a World Series championship. And even though somebody like me who understood like the pettiness of the Cubs never getting to win one with them, it was always a bummer to me that Dusty never climbed the mountaintop in that sense with that accomplishment, because he accomplished so much. He is part of so many historic moments in baseball from his playing career all the way to his managing career. And for him to have gone this entire time without winning one would have been sad. It would have been an injustice in the sport to see Dusty Baker walk away without that accolade. And lo and behold, he goes and salvages what happened in Houston. And think about it, like, that's how beloved, or at the very least respected, Dusty Baker is that what happened with Houston, with that front office, and obviously with A.J. Hinch and Alex Cora and the banging of the garbage cans, we know what was going on and how much they were villainized. But for Dusty to show up, to ride that huge wave of negativity, and rightfully so, people calling them out, to win a championship and people not hate him, people not making him Darth Vader, people not making him Thanos, that people are happy for him. Yeah, it kind of is a little stinky that it was with Houston in this era, but the fact that Dusty won it helps out the stigma of that Astros teams in history going down the line, that at least Dusty was the manager of that team. And I think it's so commendable, the type of job that he did with that team, because here's the thing too, right? Everybody will say it was a ready-made championship team ready to go. We've seen it this year, and it's a discussion Paul and I have had it. There are teams that spend $300 million that don't get to the playoffs. There are teams that spend $60 million and make it to the World Series. There are teams that win 100 games and can't get out of the wild card. There are teams that lost 100 games the season before and now are in the World Series. It's not guaranteed. There are so many variables. Anything can happen in a playoff series. And for Dusty to walk into Houston with all the expectations and all that black cloud, bad juju going on, for him to win a World Series, to help manage them to a World Series, is such a feat. And I think for people to say that it's a guarantee is a disservice. It's a slap in the face, because we've seen it, whether it's here locally, White Sox or Cubs, where it's supposed to be plug and play. You're ready to win a championship. You just need to show up. And you can't win 70 games, 80 games. So it's no guarantee. So I think the fact, in all of history, Dusty Baker left a positive note, and he will be remembered. And I think not just remembered as a respected manager, but a manager who was stable, brought in a certain type of energy to your ball club, and for him to end it with so much success, I think is awesome. And I really am interested to hear, especially Cub fans, baseball fans in Chicago that are around my age, how they feel about Dusty Baker. But let us know. We're all over the universe on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Leave a comment down below if you're checking us out on YouTube at The Sports Cubicle. And, of course, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, all over the universe at Sports from the Couch. Check us out on Spotify and SoundCloud on WCPT 820. Check out our friends over at Sheets and Go-Go's. Thank you for all the support over at Sheets and Go-Go's. They have such amazing products that are going to make your all-important night of sleep that much better and more comfortable. And use the promo code, the Sports Cubicle, Sports from the Couch, for 15% off your next order. And a huge shout out to each and every one of you for the support over at Lucha Dog. Check out what we have going on as the book gets near its release date at luchadog.shop. We got more coming up next here on the Sports Cubicle. I'm Mike Mercado.